Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. Thank you so much for joining me today. First up, Middlewaves is joining me in studio as they do their final countdown to the big summer concert happening this weekend. Then it's Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial, and we're discussing tax planning. And a little bit later, we are taking you inside of Paige's Crossing, which is a fun outdoor facility to learn all about activities you can do over the summer. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
Festival coverage of Living Local 15 is sponsored by Shield Exteriors. The mega music festival called Middlewaves is here. Can you believe it? It's taking place on June 28th at Headwaters Park. And joining me today to share all the details about it is Carly Myers, the Chief Marketing Officer at the Embassy Theater, and Mary Jo Hardiman, their Chief Operating Officer. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Welcome. And how festive are you?
We are trying. We got the glitter represented today. We're excited. It's this weekend.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I missed that memo. I would have had some glitter on here with you. And I hear that you are the CGO.
Chief Operating Officer.
Chief Glitter Officer.
You got it. You got it.
I love it. Okay, so let's just start from the top, Carly, about Middlewaves and how people should grab their glitter and join you this weekend.
Yeah. So Saturday, our doors open at 3. Music starts at 4. We will have local food trucks, vendors. We have a gaming zone, an art zone where people can get their glitter face on and make a flower crown. We have a VIP area, so we still have some VIP tickets available, not many, where people can have kind of an elevated experience really close to the stage with all kinds of perks. It is time. And then they can see Fanagram and Rat Boys and Love Seat and all of the people on the lineup. We are excited. This is going to be a great weekend.
Yes, it is. And I know that you all are expecting so many people to come out in droves, and how this is so important for the Fort Wayne community to be able to experience this. So let's talk about just really the impact of Middlewaves right here locally, Mary Jo.
Yeah. So here in Fort Wayne, we are a music city, and we have lots of music assets, but we don't have a music festival until we have Middlewaves.
Wow.
So we need to use Middlewaves to be the engine to accelerate the growth of our music city, so that when you're in Fort Wayne, you literally collide with music on festival weekend.
Yeah. And having like this indie rock band presence, and having, I believe it's like 5 different bands on the lineup, people get that mega city experience, right, Carly? So
Absolutely.
People can kind of need to come out now to enjoy it, so they don't have to drive and travel to other places.
That's right. Yeah, we're just asking the community for support in all of its forms because, this is right in our backyard. It's in a place that people are familiar with at Headwaters Park, with beautiful green space and pavilion. It supports downtown Fort Wayne as well. And it's so great to have it here, so you don't have to travel to all these cities, which we have a great access to big cities, but we want our community to be able to enjoy this. And, whether that's buying a ticket, whether that's donating, whether it's just spreading word, sharing a social post, all of those things are shows of support. So even if the Indie Rock Festival isn't your scene, get the word out for us and help us get people there and embracing this year over year.
Yeah, because every year is something different, right? You kind of tap into a different genre, is that correct?
A little bit. So we've had pop music, we've had hip hop. With indie music, that's the independent music label. So you're able to get rock, you're able to get alt, you're really to get more of an eclectic feel. And in order to get more headliners and larger acts, we need to have you come out and support this festival so that we can get even bigger names coming to Fort Wayne.
Right, exactly. And I can't believe Middlewaves has been around for 9 years. And so as you continue to grow, how do you feel that you all will evolve?
I think that we're going to evolve this transformational music festival over the next 3 years. In the next 3 years, I see us growing to a 2-day festival. I see us expanding within the park. I also see us having hype fests in the fall, like maybe out on the eastern side of Allen County, maybe up at the lakes, because we have 101 lakes that we could tap into.
Wow.
Maybe in the spring with bigger acts, coming in to support us here at the embassy. So I think it's going to transform and evolve to become a year-round destination transformational festival for our community.
I love that, and I love the vision. I mean, I think
you.
that's what we need,
It
and I think
is.
that's going to be exciting to have something just ongoing, because especially if you love live music, it's like now's your chance. And so I know, Carly, you said that you still have tickets that are available.
Yep.
But any tips? I mean, we're days away. Any tips for people to prepare, like outfit wise? I mean, should they look at this as our little personal Coachella? Come as you
Absolutely.
are, be free, and then also what should they bring?
Sure. So yeah, we tell people to come as you like to the festival. Get your festival outfit on. Wear your previous Middlewaves shirts if you have them, and just we have a list on our website of things you can and can't bring into the park.
Okay.
But you can bring a blanket. You can kind of like sit in the green space if you want to. And we'll have lots of stuff to do in between the sets. So it'll be a real it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, just straight up fun. There's lots of things to do. So it's not just about the music, which is amazing, but it's about spending the whole day in downtown and embracing kind of what we're bringing here.
Yeah,
So,
and you have food trucks and activities and stuff.
Sure.
And is this open for kids as well?
Yeah.
We have kids activities, and a kids ticket's only $10, and it's actually a great festival. If you've ever wanted to bring your children out to a music festival, but you're like, I'm not really sure, this is the one to do it.
Okay, and is this a rain or shine event?
You bet.
Okay, there it is. But it's under a pavilion. So
Under a pavilion.
there you go. All right, well, perfect. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate talking to both
Thank
of you. And if you would like more information about Middlewaves, we'll have their website listed below so that you can get your tickets and also check out the do's and the don'ts and what to bring to enjoy the weekend in Fort Wayne. And I look forward to seeing you after the break. Festival coverage of Living Local 15 is sponsored by Shield Exteriors. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome back to Women's Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial, and we talk about an array of things that will be beneficial to your financial planning. And joining me today is Caleb Doan, their Vice President. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so we've been on this talking series. I'm really talking about the basics of financial planning, and you've broken down so many different things over the weeks. And today we're going to talk about tax planning. Now, granted, we just exited tax season, but people have to really start to prepare in advance, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if somebody got hit with kind of a bigger tax bill than what they were anticipating, sometimes this is a little bit higher on the priority list after that. But yeah, there are lots of elements to a financial plan, and we like to be very holistic when we're creating financial plans. So it's not just looking at the investments, it's looking at all the other pieces that can impact your finances. And so we've talked in previous weeks about, making sure your risk is kind of appropriate, looking at your cash flow analysis, setting a target retirement date. Today we wanted to talk about tax planning or tax strategizing, which is a really important thing, whether you're working or in retirement, because taxes are probably going to be the biggest expense over the course of your life out of everything, right? You might not necessarily see it because a lot of times it just gets deducted from your paycheck, but it's the most expensive thing that you're going to have over the course of your life. So, it makes sense to spend some time on it.
Yeah, and with planning it, that's something that goes into the structure of a financial plan that you all help your clients with. But I think sometimes people may say, wait a minute, you're not a CPA.
Right.
So clearing or wanting to be clear about it, you all help prepare information that the CPA can use, right, in order to help complete the tax process?
Yeah, there's that, but there are even some, a lot of tax strategies related specifically to the investment accounts that a lot of times the CPAs, don't necessarily help with, or some CPAs don't. So when we think about Roth conversions, for example, that's where you take money in, pre-tax traditional IRA, you roll it over to a Roth IRA. That process is called a Roth conversion. It's a taxable event when you do that. And a lot of times we do that if somebody's in maybe an attractive tax bracket right now. They have a little bit of room until they hit the next tax bracket. So we'll say, all right, let's do a Roth conversion this year. A lot of times CPAs might say, hey, that's a little bit more of the investment advisor's job. Sometimes the investment advisor says, no, that's a little bit more of the CPA's job. what ends up happening is that nobody does it.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
we like to kind of stick our hand up and say, hey, we'll be the ones who do it. We'll do kind of the tax strategizing for the client. So Roth conversions are certainly a big piece of that. But there's a lot of other elements to it too. There's qualified charitable distributions. There's tax loss harvesting. There's just kind of, planning for big capital gains. There's a lot of elements that we like to plan for so that somebody doesn't get hit with a giant tax bill unnecessarily.
Right, and part of that is finding the loopholes or really the benefits that they can take advantage of that they may not know about.
Right.
But a lot of it I know has to do with the retirement age. So is building tax planning into your financial plan something that should be started young, or is that more so a focus when you get up to close to retirement?
Yeah, it's definitely something that can be started young. And a lot of times, some of the big tax strategizing that we do, it's necessary to do it because maybe they didn't address it when they were younger. So, one very common example that we see is that somebody contributes only pre-tax into their 401k. And so they have this big amount of pre-tax, money by the time that they retire, which can be a very good thing. If you have, a lot of money in your pre-tax IRA, that's a good thing, but it can be kicking the can down the road a little bit from a tax perspective once required minimum distributions start, which under current law is at 73 years old. Some of that money has to be withdrawn every single year, and taxes have to be paid on it for whatever you withdraw. And so sometimes we can do Roth conversions ahead of time to help avoid that. If we were able to start younger with folks, then maybe we'd have them contribute a little bit towards Roth and pre-tax, so then they don't have as big of RMDs once they turn 73.
Yeah, and then what about the tax planning start? Like I said, we just exited tax season. When should people start this planning to prepare them for 2026?
Oh yeah, as soon as possible.
Okay. You're like now.
Typically, yeah,
Right
exactly.
now.
Yesterday, actually. It's kind of the thing where it's never too late. Like we can still do it regardless. If somebody comes to us and they're 65 and they say, hey, I actually put in my 2 weeks yesterday, can I still do tax planning? We can certainly help with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's never too early to do it either. And so if you're young and you're like, what can I be doing right now to help avoid taxes later on or be able to make some of these decisions that are going to help me in the future? We can absolutely make some small tweaks when you're younger that make just a vast difference later on.
Okay. And then if someone's watching at home and they're like, okay, I need to start thinking about my tax planning, are there any tangible tips that you can give them that they can start doing now?
Yeah, definitely. So, understanding how the different investment accounts are taxed can have a really big difference down the road. And so a lot of the investment accounts that people contribute to all have different rules when it comes to how they're taxed. So HSAs are very different than Roth IRAs, which are different than traditional IRAs, which are different than a brokerage account. And they all have unique tax rules. They have different rules on withdrawing it, different rules on how taxes are deferred in them. And so right now, if somebody's younger, a lot of times they're in their contribution years. And so they're contributing a lot to these investment accounts. Knowing which ones to contribute to is a very important piece of the plan. And so that's why, especially when people are young, we do a lot with the contribution strategizing and saying, all right, what's the priority here? Which account do we want to max out first before moving on to this next account? And it's kind of different for everybody. And so that's a big piece to focus on.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you'd like more information about Foster Financial, we'll have their website and their phone number listed below. Contact them for a complimentary consultation, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. I am here at Paige's Crossing, located in Columbia City. They are a full fun zone offering everything from go-karts, a driving range, rock climbing, and also a batting cage. I'm taking you on this adventure. Let's do it. Joining me now is Caden Poling, the park manager. Hi, Caden.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Okay, so you probably have a really cool job being able to be over this really fun place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us all about Paige's Crossing.
So we got multiple different attractions here. We've got a really cool arcade that's new and updated, mini golf courses. We have 3 different mini golf courses. Top Tracer driving range, which is kind of like Top Golf if you've ever been there. Brand new batting cages, and then we got rides and go-karts as well.
Yeah, and you all have been in the Columbia City community for 30 years.
30 years, yes.
Which is great. And so tell us about just the vibe here as people, individuals, family come to participate.
Yeah, it's a really great place for families to come have fun. We do a lot of corporate events, company parties. They come out and do employee appreciation days to show their appreciation for their employees. So we get kind of a group of a lot of different people that come through our park.
Yeah, okay, and so kind of break down a little bit more in detail each of the areas. So behind us we have the racetrack, or the go-kart track, and people just come. Do they compete with each other? Do they just go in rounds by themselves?
You can go in a round by yourself, you can get with some friends, you can race, you can do about anything. It's a 4-minute race. So you got 4 minutes to do whatever you want out there.
Okay, great. And then in between, I see that there are some rides, and then also over here. So talk to me about the ride options.
Yeah, so we have 3 different ride options at the moment. We've got Frog Hopper, which goes up and kind of bounces you back down.
Okay.
Himalaya, which is kind of more like a kiddie coaster. And then we have our Twister over there in the middle, which spins around, and then you can spin your cart around as well. So.
Okay. And then I see here a nice wall climbing. How high is this, you know?
I don't know.
It looks pretty high from where we are standing. And so it looks like it has about 4 slots that people can go at the same time.
Yeah.
Kind of get a little competition going.
You can. We've seen a lot of competition.
Yes. Okay. And then inside you have your arcade. And so what's one of the most popular arcade games in there?
One of our most popular arcade games is really any of the claw games.
Okay.
So we have one at Ticket Rings. That's a really popular one we see with a lot of the kids in there. And then we have an Avengers game, which is kind of like coin drop game. That's another popular one, even with adults.
Okay, yeah, people like their prizes. And then over here you have a batting cage, and that's cool. I don't think there are many batting cages here.
No, there's not many around the area.
Yeah.
We're one of like the only places. I think there's maybe another place in Fort Wayne. And we just got brand new batting cages. They opened about last month. So
nice. Have you gotten in there?
I have. I've tried
it
out.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is fun. Okay, so now let's talk about the golf options, because you have 2 different types. The putt-putt. So what type of layout is the putt-putt golf?
So there's 3 different courses. We have A, B, and C, A being the easiest and C being hardest. So you can kind of challenge yourself or go the easy option, whatever you prefer.
Okay, and then the long, what's it called, the long range?
Driving range.
Driving range,
yes.
Oh my goodness. Like you said, kind of like Top Golf,
Yes.
which is so fun. And so people, how many slots are there?
We have about 20 slots. We have 10 up top, 10 at the bottom. Give or take a few. And then we have 20 bays with our Top Tracer technology. So that's ball tracking technology, tells you your ball speed, ball distance, carry, all that stuff. So
yeah, that's really cool. So in addition to people being able to come out and of course enjoying themselves, you actually have events that take place, or concerts,
Yes.
right? So tell us about your concert
So we have
series.
Thursday night concerts throughout the summer. We'll be wrapping that up here at the end of August. Every Thursday night we have food trucks that come out. We have vendors that'll sell their goods, baked goods, freeze-dried candies, different stuff like that. And then we have our bar for our adults, and then live music of local bands.
Yeah, and then you have an event center as well, right? So people can
Yes.
rent it out?
Yes, we have an event center that can be rented out. That's where a lot of our company parties are held. We offer catering for company parties, and then they can also bring in caterers as well.
Okay, that's so fun. Lastly, talk about how the tickets work. So people can come and buy a ticket for the entire attraction, or is it separated?
So you can kind of mix and match. You go in the arcade, you'll get your tickets. If you just want to do go-karts, you tell them you want go-karts, and they'll load it on a card for you that says Paige's Crossing. You'll take that down there and you'll be able to go on go-karts. And that works with just about anything here. So.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me. I think it's time for us to have some fun. All right, y'all, I'm gonna try my luck at putt-putt. Woo! All right, guys, today has been so much fun at Paige's Crossing. If you'd like more information about this place, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after the break.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.